Welcome back to Last of the Romans. Every offense, every team, Dynasty for Madden 24. And I'm just going to go through some of the prospects really quick because I've come up with a mock draft. So we have Chicago trading up with Denver. And it'll be Fields and the number 10 overall pick for Denver's number 1. It'll probably have more attached to it if this was the actual draft, but the trades are just kind of placemaker. The whole draft is placemaker until we actually get to it. But anyways, this is who I have Chicago taking is Caleb Williams, and then Washington with the second pick, trading up with Arizona. Um, they're taking Drake May. New England trading up with Arizona for the third pick because Arizona had 2 and 3, having taken, I believe, Houston's or yeah, it was Houston's. Pretty sure it was their pick. But New England will be taking Jaden Daniels. Number 4 is Arizona. They will take Marvin Harrison Jr. Number 5 is Atlanta, trading up with Tampa Bay, and Atlanta will take Malik Neighbors to pair with Pitt and Drake London. Number 6 in the draft, Seattle is going to go ahead and take tight end Brock Bowers. Noah Fant is leaving in free agency, and they needed a tight end, so he is certainly the best one available. He'll be a great boon to their passing offense next season if they do take him. With the 7th overall pick, we have the Rams taking Joe Alt, the Notre Dame left tackle. He's 6'8", 322 pounds, and he runs extremely fast for a guy his size. Just a perfect pick, really, if you need a left tackle. Chicago with the 8th overall pick in the draft will take Dallas Turner. It's kind of a misconception that the Bears need a lineman with this pick. The offensive line really wasn't that bad, especially after Tevin Jenkins returned from injury. Yeah, the last 4 or 5 games of the season, the line was fine. It's just Fields held the ball so long, and was slow to go through his progressions. Had a slow drop back, had a slow release. That all added up to a lot of sacks. I think Caleb Williams will have a better time behind that offensive line. So the Bears are going with Dallas Turner. They'll probably play him at left end instead of left outside linebacker, but I'm not positive. They could have went for Latu, but Dallas is just, he's a monster. He's looking like maybe like Micah Parsons. So with the 9th overall pick, Atlanta traded to Tampa Bay that pick for the 5th, which then Tampa Bay turned around and traded to Tennessee for the 16th. So it's actually Tennessee's pick, and they are going to go with a wide receiver, Rome Odunze. The 10th overall pick, which was originally Carolina's, but was traded to Chicago last season, and then Chicago traded to Denver for the 1st overall pick. They're going to go with Latu, because they need a left end to pair with Zach Allen, the right end, who had a good number of sacks from what I remember. The next pick, the 11th pick in the draft, New England had traded to Arizona for the 3rd pick. So it's Arizona's pick, and with that pick, they're going to take defensive tackle Byron Murphy, the 2nd, out of Texas. They didn't really have a defensive tackle, so this will be really good for them. The 12th overall pick the Jets, they'll take a wide receiver to pair with Garrett Wilson, and that wide receiver is Xavier Worthy. He had an insane combine. He ran for 4.21 40. So he's definitely looking like a good prospect. Green Bay had the next pick, the 13th pick, and despite having two good cornerbacks, they decided to go with another cornerback to replace Rasul Douglas. And then that cornerback will be Terrion Arnold from Alabama. Pittsburgh with the next pick, and they need really a right tackle, but they're going to go with a left tackle and move somebody to right tackle, probably Broderick Jones. They're going to take Olu Fashanu from Penn State, the 6'6" left tackle. He's going to be a great addition to their line. Some people might think they're going to take a quarterback with this spot, but I think they're okay waiting around. Because Fashanu is just way too good to pass up. The next pick is the 15th, which Cleveland traded to Houston for Deshaun Watson. The Houston Texans are going to go with a cornerback here. They're going to take the one that had the best combine, Quinion Mitchell, out of Toledo. He has looked like an insane athlete, and he definitely looks like he could be the best cornerback in the draft. Tennessee has the 16th pick, but they traded it to Tampa Bay for the 9th. So Tampa Bay is going to take a local player. They're going to take wide receiver Keon Coleman, who has really, really good acceleration and agility, but not great top-end speed. He ran like a 4.65, I think, at the combine, which is just not good. But his shuttle times, like his agility drills, they were at the high end of the class. So, and he's also that type of receiver that isn't going to get a whole lot of separation. You can see that with his 4.65 speed. He's not going to get much separation, but he can make a good catch on 50-50 balls. He's really good at contested catches. He's 6'3", so yeah, that's definitely a strong suit. Seattle has the 17th pick. I believe, I'm not really sure how they got the 17th, but they must have traded it for somebody. And they're going to go with defensive tackle Devondre Sweat, who is 6'4", 363 pounds, and can run extremely fast. He's going to be a monster in the NFL. The Raiders have the 18th pick, and they're going to go with a cornerback. They're going to go with Nate Wiggins out of Clemson, who he actually might be the best. Actually, there's three guys I really think could be the best in the class. It's either Nate Wiggins, Quinion Mitchell, or I suppose Cooper DeJean, but I almost wonder if he's going to end up at safety. Although I think he ran a pretty good 40 times, so he could probably stay at cornerback. It's just going to depend on what team drafts him and where they're thinking of using him. So the 19th pick is held by Jacksonville, and they're going to take Jared Verse, the Florida State defensive end. Definitely a good pick there. That's great value at 19. Indianapolis has the 20th pick, and they're going to go with right guard Troy Fautanu out of Washington. The 21st pick is held by the Saints, and they're going to go with Braylon Trice out of Washington, so back-to-back Washington players. And then Detroit with the 22nd pick in the draft. They're going to go with Cooper DeJean because they could. They're probably just going to keep him at cornerback, I think, if they draft him because they don't have great cornerbacks, and I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson is leaving, so they definitely could use one. They're much better in real life than in the game. I have to change their ratings for their group. The 23rd pick is held by the Buffalo Bills, and they're losing Gabe Davis to free agency, so they're needing a slot receiver to fill in for him. And the slot that they've decided to go with is Brian Thomas Jr. Bit big for a slot. He'll be a big slot, I guess. That's been popular in the NFL recently, is to get a really big guy to play the slot. Even a tight end like Dalton Kincaid. I think Jimmy Graham used to play big slot too. But anyways, Brian Thomas Jr. had one of the best combines. He had a 9.97 raw athletic score, I believe, which is extremely good. So just a great athlete. Will be really good in the slot. Could be, someday a number one receiver even. Baltimore had the 24th pick in the draft, and they're also going to go with a wide receiver. They're going to go with Troy Franklin. I don't know much about him. He played for Oregon. I've heard a lot of hype for him, but Ravens need a number one guy, and he's 6'2", so he could maybe do it. The other consideration was the Donnie Mitchell and Polk. Even Cornelius Johnson would be a good selection in this spot because he's had an insane combine. The 25th pick in the draft is held by the Dallas Cowboys, and they're going with left outside linebacker Edgerrin Cooper, which is gonna, their defense is stacked to begin with. This is just icing on the cake. Philadelphia with the 26th pick, and they're actually going to go wide receiver, kind of a just luxury selection. And they're going to go with the Donnie Mitchell, the Texas receiver, who's 6'4". A lot of people say that he's better than Xavier Worthy, who went 12th in the draft, but yeah, the hype around him isn't as much as those ahead of him. So he fell to 26, and in real life, he might even be a second-round pick. I could see Roman Wilson, even though, college football fans are going to cringe at that, but I could see Roman Wilson surpassing him because of his route running ability. That's very highly valued by the NFL. You can get separation that really helps the quarterback. The Los Angeles Chargers hold the 27th pick, and I have them drafting Amarius Mims, who's had an insane combine. He's 6'6", 340 pounds, and he can move. He's not slow whatsoever. That is a scary person to see running at you. Miami with the 28th pick is going to go with a tight end, and they're going with Jatavian Sanders out of Texas, and he's probably the second best tight end in the class. There is a big gap between Bowers and Sanders, but Sanders is still the second best. Stover in that conversation. Ben Sinote, I don't know how to say his name, but Kansas State's tight end also in the conversation. Theo is kind of a distant fourth, or fifth, that is. I've heard some good things about Dallin Holker. I'm pretty interested to see where he goes. He was the one that caught a football in the drill and then caught another one with his unoccupied hand. So he one-handed caught it. So yeah, it's a decent tight end class outside of Bowers, but he's clearly the number one. But Miami getting Sanders here. Kansas City with the 29th pick, and people are really afraid of this. Lad McConkey, out of Georgia. That's who they're going with, and could be really good. Um, we'll have to see. But with the 30th selection in the draft, the Giants are going with J.J. McCarthy, and the reason for this is they can keep him on the bench for up to 3 seasons before they need to have him start. So that will be a good situation for McCarthy, who needs to sit for some time and try to cut down on those turnovers and make better decisions. It's really his processing that needs to improve. He's got a great arm. He's got good accuracy. Um, it's just the mental side of the game. With the 31st pick in the draft, the 49ers will take Jackson Powers Johnson, who has been getting a lot of hype for his combine. The Bengals have the 32nd pick in the draft, and they're losing Tyler Boyd, so they need a slot. And they're going to go with, well, they could go with Roman Wilson here, but they're actually going to go with Malachi Corley out of Western Kentucky. Only 5'11", but he has a lot of people that think he's going to be great, and a lot of people that think he's going to be terrible. It's a bit of a gamble, but one the Bengals are willing to take. And that's my mock draft for this league. I think I'm going to cut the video here and then go to the Chargers and Bills game in the next video. So thanks for watching.